Hello everyone, Sandi here. Today I'm doing a VR, a video response to the hashtag Deck Crush by Marlene Teresa, Dawn Michelle, Dani Vincent, and Lisa Pepes. I will have all of their channels linked down below. You'll have to excuse me. This is like the first words I'm speaking today. I'm home alone and haven't had anyone to talk to, so it's gonna get a while for my brain to I don't know, get started, I think. So, but anyway, this is such a fun tag. Deck Crush. So basically, all the decks I have been crushing on and I'm currently crushing on, I suppose. Fair warning, I tend to not follow the rules with these tags, so I might take a few extras in here, but let's just get started, shall we? The first prompt is the Fling. So, and that's a deck with which you've had a short period of wild times. And my Fling deck is The Guardian of the Night Tarot by MJ Cullinane. I had such an intense period with this deck. We had, oops, this is the indie edition. It's recently become available at mass markets as well. But yes, these are the lovely backs. The indie edition is quite large, as you can see, and it's also very, very slippy, so slippery. So basically this deck, let me put it down and stop faffing about with it. This deck and I had a really intense period of time. It helped me through some very tough moments, and we're working together quite consistently for a little while. And then something happened and we just kind of drifted apart. So we've been on a break for quite a while now. But looking at it, my interest is peaking again. So you know how it is. Once you've had a connection, they linger in your heart, don't they? So there's so many gorgeous cards in here, and this is the only MJ Cullinane deck that I have, actually, because I don't know why. I don't know why. But it's the only one that spoke to me at the time, and I haven't actually gotten any of the other ones yet. I love this sun card. And the book for this is also very nice. Let me change that around. Love the frog for the temperance here as well. And this world card is just so gorgeous. It makes me so happy. So this was my Fling deck, and that's the Guardian of the Night Tarot by MJ Cullinane. So the next prompt is Puppy Love, and that is a deck with which you were infatuated but couldn't make a long-term commitment to. All right, so that deck for me, it was a difficult choice, this one actually, because I'm not sure if I've given up on it yet, but basically it's the Guild Tarot. I was so infatuated with the artwork for this deck when it came to the my majors. But this deck really, I don't know. I really, really adore the artwork in the majors and the courts. This is the Queen of Cups. But first of all, the backs do nothing for me. They bother me actually quite a lot. So this deck, and I had such high hopes for starting to work with this deck. Honestly, I thought it was we were gonna have a really, really intense relationship. And like I said, I really love the majors and the courts. Have I put this in order? No, I can't have. Let's get to some majors, shall we? I think I might have put this in order. Right. So the majors is what drew me in. And yeah, I had a very intense love for this deck from afar and was like determined I would get it. Once it got here and I started trying to work with it, I don't know what happened. We just fell out of love. I don't know. Or I haven't really given it the time of day that it needs, perhaps. I don't know. Puppy love. It's fickle. So this is a deck that I have that I was really infatuated with, and then nothing. I just... this Hermit card though, how gorgeous. I love this Hermit card. See, that's the thing when it comes to decks for me. If it just has even one card that I'm really, really in love with, it just lifts the whole deck, doesn't it? And then vice versa as well, if a deck is really gorgeous and then it just has this one card. Well, that way around, it works better for me, because then I feel like that specific card in that specific deck has something really important to teach me. And I suppose that should be true with this one as well, that the cards that bother me will have something to teach me. But yeah, this Empress. Oh, anyway, my puppy love deck, the Guild Tarot. Haven't managed to move it along yet. Don't know. I don't have the big guidebook for this either. If I had, maybe it would be a different situation. And then maybe I would give it a bit of a deep dive, you know. But from what I've understood, the big guidebook can be a bit difficult to get hold of. I need to revisit this. So, that was the Guild Tarot by Elizabeth Josephine Gill. Okay, so next prompt is Friends with Benefits. A deck you care about but sometimes get extremely passionate for. And for this one, I actually ended up choosing the Trionfi della Luna Illustrated Pips edition. So, you guys, those of you who saw my first impressions walkthrough of this deck knows how extremely much I love this deck. But it's basically, yeah, like a what's the word? May, September type relationship. I don't know. It's kind of like we love each other a lot. We're good friends always. But sometimes we just get these bursts of like, yeah, friends with benefits. We can have these bursts of really intense periods of times together, and this deck always gives me something new to look at. Don't put it in the fire, Sandy. So yeah, the Trionfi della Luna Illustrated Pips edition is something quite special in my collection. It's the first, I believe the first like limited edition deck I ever bought, and it's also one of the first decks that I spent more than €100 to get to me. So I was really going out on a limb because I really didn't particularly have a specific fondness for Patrick Valence's artwork by that time. This deck is what did it for me. This deck is what just brought me over to the Patrick Valence side of tarot. I adore these characters. They are so freaking cool, and yeah, we're good friends that sometimes love the heck out of each other. So yeah, I love this card. So that's the Trionfi della Luna Illustrated Pips edition by Patrick Valence. All right, so the next prompt is Love at First Sight. A deck you loved from the start. Quite self-explanatory, yes. All right, so in this category, I could not just choose one. And I don't think that any of these decks are going to be surprises to any of you. So, especially if you've seen my channel before. But the first deck I'm going to show you is the Oak, Ash and Thorn by Stephanie Burrows and Adam Ohlers. So this deck is my very, very first Kickstarter deck that I ever backed. And it was instant. I didn't even have to think twice about it. I adore this deck. Adored it from the very first time I laid eyes on it. And now I have the mini edition as well, which makes it so much easier for me to work with. I chose to show you the Kickstarter edition because it's bigger and I wanted you to see these images as well as you could. So yeah, this deck, this creator pair, honestly, I am just, to use a horrible term that I really don't like, but I'm gagging. I'm gagging for the Oracle deck that they are producing at the moment. Thistle Down Oracle. Every image I see just makes me want to cry a little bit. And I think that Oracle is going to be just one of my all-time... I already know it's going to be one of my all-time favorites. But back to the Oak, Ash and Thorn. I had never seen a deck that spoke so directly to the heart of me ever in my life. To that point, it was just like, I saw it and I thought, this is what I've been waiting for. This is the deck. This is the deck that I have been missing in my life. It's just so gorgeous, and it's in the forest, and it's watercolor, and it's animals, and it's just everything I would ever want in a deck, I feel. I mean, squirrels, foxes, badgers, hedgehogs, owls, hares, little birds, ravens. It's just perfection. So yeah, that's the Oak, Ash and Thorn is one of my first love at first sight decks. Another deck that I loved at first sight is the Forest of Enchantment Tarot. So this is another deck that just blew me away the moment I saw it. This is my very first deck that I ever pre-ordered. It's just yeah, I can't say enough good things about this deck. Hang on. I've got it in a specific order because I'm doing a deep dive study of this deck, and I don't want to mess up the specific order that I've had it in for that specific reason. So I'm going to remove some of the cards there. Here we go. So Forest of Enchantment Tarot is by Linnea Weatherstone and Mirella Allwood, and it's just, I can't describe how much I love this deck. And like I said, I ordered this deck without watching many of the any previews or anything. I pre-ordered it just based on a few cards, and it was love at first sight. The moment I opened it, it was just like this deck. Oh my goodness. And you might think that, yes, all right, Sandi, we get it. You're into forests and animals. I mean, Oak, Ash and Thorn, the Forest of Enchantment. I mean, oh yeah, okay, fair enough. But this is also very fairy tale-y, and it's got like myths and like nods to different fairy tales, and like this, it's got this really warm and inviting quality to it, as well as these darker, more mysterious cards. And I mean, come on, how am I supposed to not love a card with, or a deck with gnomes and witches and wizards and animals and plants and sparkly bits and unicorns and frogs? I mean, so this deck and I have a very special relationship. Oh, this Hermit card makes me so happy. We have a very special relationship, not just because I've done it's like one of the first decks that I've really deep dived. I am, like I said, doing a deep dive deck study here on YouTube with this, where I talk about every card in comparison to the Rider-Waite-Smith and read from both guidebooks. And it's, by the end of this, it's going to be probably be the first guidebook that I've read from cover to cover as well. So yeah, I've just paid this deck such special attention already, but I needed to include it in this love at first sight category, because that's where it fits in the most, I think, because like I said, it's the first pre-order I've ever done. I just fell head over heels with this deck the moment I saw it, and I just knew this deck is what I need to have. So that's why it's in that category. I have one more deck in this category, the Love at First Sight category, and that is the Woodland Wardens Oracle by Jessica Rue. This is my second pre-order deck, so I don't tend to pre-order decks. I like to know what I'm getting, but with this deck it was enough with just the few cards they showed on the pre-order site. I needed this deck so badly. I love it to bits. It is my, yes, love at first sight, like true, like whirlwind romance love at first sight. Love this illustration style. Jessica Rue's artwork just does something to me, and it feels old, ancient, and magical. It feels really vintage as well, and it's just, yeah, love the combination of animals and plants, and I love the keywords in this deck. The guidebook is really nice as well. The prompts, the journaling prompts in the guidebook, I adore. So yes, this deck is definitely pure love at first sight. All right, so that was Woodland Wardens by Jessica Rue. So before we move on with the VR and the next category or the next prompt, I wanted to squeeze in a love at second sight deck. Or rather, maybe that's not the best way of saying it, but it's more like I didn't think I would love this deck, but once I had it in my hands, it was love at first sight. Like, it was love at first real sight, but not love at first, like, sight on YouTube, if you understand what I mean. So, love at second sight. And that is Tarot of Curious Creatures by Chris Ann. Like I said, I thought this deck was a bit too, I don't know what, something for me. But the moment I got it in my hands and I started looking at it and interacting with it and reading the guidebook, I was hooked and lost, and we are so in love. It's such a cute deck, and I love these characters that she's managed to create here with this kind of collage style artwork. It makes me smile, it makes me laugh, it sometimes makes me cry. It's always spot on, and so yeah, I needed to include this this deck because we are still crushing on each other, and always gives me such insight, this deck. I could have included it in like any of the upcoming prompts, to be honest, but because of the specific, like very specific way I started using this deck, where I was really, really on the fence and really not thinking I would like it. But oh God, look at this Nine of Pentacles. We have a bear, we have a hawk or a falcon, a hawk, I believe. No, a falcon. I don't know. And a snail, and I just love. Anyway, so yes, it always makes me laugh. So yes, I needed to include a love at second sight because we were not immediately in love, but then we met in person and now we are. So that is the love at second sight deck that I included on my own, and that's the Tarot of Curious Creatures by Chris Ann. So next prompt is the One Night Stand, and that is a deck you tried out but moved on from almost immediately. Sometimes you still think about that deck, and I have chosen two decks for this because I couldn't choose between them. And the first one is Tarot del Fuego by Riccardo Cavolo, and yeah, love the Fournier cardstock and size on their decks, and I really wish I would find a Fournier deck that I can properly love the heck out of. But yeah, so far I haven't found one. Alrighty then. So these are the backs. And Tarot del Fuego and I are. Hang on. Oh, I've got this all over the place. Never mind. Let's move away the boob. The boob card. Right. So yeah, I got this deck. I was so infatuated with the artwork, the art style. I thought it was really quirky and fun, and I still love it. I think it's some kind of like fantasy self thing here going on here. Like, I wish that I would be able to love and work with this deck, but we just don't get along. I don't know I think, like I've said in previous videos when I've shown this deck, it's the fire and the ice. There's fire and extra ice. Like, I mean, eyes that you see with, in every single card, and I just can't get over that part. It's just something that sneaks into all of my readings, and it's like I can't disregard them. Like this Eight of Pentacles, okay, so we've got a row of skulls inside this mountain, and then we've got raining. It's like there's too much going on for me, I think. Yeah, there's just too much going on for me. And so we quickly parted ways. I mean, I haven't given it away or traded it or anything yet. It's still here because in Finland it's a bit difficult to trade decks. I haven't gotten in contact with any Finnish people who, like, except for maybe one or two people on Facebook I know are from Finland. But I haven't really become acquainted with anyone that would want to trade or do any such thing within Finland. So any trade that I do will have to be like very expensive international shipping, and so I haven't actually put it up for sale or traded anything. It's like yeah, it is what it is. But yes, this deck and I were definitely a one-night stand type of deal. Love shuffling this deck though, because it's just so perfect for my hand size. So this was the Tarot del Fuego by Ricardo Cavollo. The second deck that I'm choosing to call a one-night stand is the Monsoon Tarot. I ordered this. This is the Kickstarter edition, 176 out of 999. Now, I don't know what the deal is with this deck, to be honest, because it's also available on Tevada. And yeah, it was available there during the Kickstarter campaign as well. So I don't know. It's just left me a little bit. This deck feels conspicuous to me, and there's also no like creator's name on here anywhere. So I don't know. The backs are pretty. The artwork is pretty, but it I don't know. I can't read this deck. I can't. So, yes, I got this deck, had really high hopes for it, looked through it, and was just left cold with most of the cards. Like, some of them are really intriguing, and I really love some of the depictions. I mean, the artwork is gorgeous. And I think that's the crux of it. Like, I love the artwork, the art style. I also love the color palette, actually, even though it's very lilac and blue on every card. But look at this cat. Love him. And I also love, look how cool this depiction is. We have this bird, like, swooshing past with a letter in his beak, you know. It's like phew, and it's blurry to show you that it's kind of like, it's almost like a photograph, like where the focus is on this dude, and here we have like in the forefront, like, or foreground, this bird coming in. It's cool. It's a really cool deck. I also love several people have said the Studio Ghibli vibe. This card gives me Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild vibes, you know. And it's just, it's cool in many ways. I love this Hermit card, for example. And there are cards in here that I really, really love. But I just, whenever I pick it up, I just feel like I don't want to read with this deck. It's these, like I've said before, these blob faces really bother me. If it was one or two cards because of the way that card is supposed, like it's a symbolic choice for that specific card, fair enough. But because most of the minors have blob faces, like even these cats. And there's also there's a hedgehog card in here that I loved, And then I saw that the hedgehog has a blob face. And I just like, well, no, don't take away my hedgehog face. Like, and then we have these like anime looking things in here. That just, the deck doesn't click for me. It just doesn't. Even though it's gorgeous and very pretty, it's not working for me. So yeah, we tried it. We were initially attracted to one another, you know. We tried it, and we're just not working out. So one night stand, definitely one night stand. Me and the Monsoon. So yes, that was the Monsoon Tarot by I don't know, and maybe it will say in the guidebook. Hang on, I really like to say the creator's name when I'm doing these things. But no, the guidebook is very cryptic as well. Hang on. Designed by Woe Studios. Okay. So we don't have a specific illustrator or a specific creator. It's a studio creation. Alright then. I think maybe that might be why I don't like it. I don't know. If that's why it feels all over the place, because it wasn't one specific person's creation and their like view of some things. Yeah, anyway, Monsoon Tarot by Woe Studios. All right. The next category is we were on a break. So for all of you 90s kids loving Friends, and this tag has a very specific connotation to it. So yeah, I'm not gonna go into all of that here. I'm just gonna take a deck that I started working with, and then, or I got in, loved it, and then I took a break from it immediately. And now we're not on a break anymore. We are working together. So that's deck for me is the Wildwood Tarot. So I got this deck in. I had been pining for it for a long time. This deck is trimmed. I trimmed down the white borders a bit, just so that you are aware of that. I got this deck in because I love Will Worthington's artwork. I felt really drawn to it. Got it in and immediately felt very overwhelmed by the different system, and felt like I wanted to work with this deck so much, but I didn't have the capacity for it at the moment when I got it. And so I put it away, and it's been sitting on my shelf for about a year now. And then this February, I decided to start the Wildwood, A Year in the Wildwood, which is a book by Alison Cross. And of course, this I should also say that this deck is by Mark Ryan and John Matthews with illustrations of by Will Worthington. So, yes, we took a break, quite a long break, and now I am picking it up to do a year of study with this deck. Slowly and easy, just following the Wheel of the Year as it is laid out within this tarot system. And I'm joining a group of people on Facebook who are also studying this deck at the same time. So that's going to be very fun and interesting. And I'm hoping that the Wildwood and I will be able to develop a strong relationship from all the devotion I'm going to be giving it. So that is the Wildwood Tarot by Mark Ryan and John Matthews, and artwork by Will Worthington. Okay, so next prompt is marriage material, and that is a deck that has proven its value to you. And of course, this prompt, I couldn't just choose one, so you're going to have to bear with me. I have, 4 decks here. that I was able to single. I would have been able to give you a lot more in this prompt, but I singled it down to 4. So please, like, I managed to get it down to 4. Okay, I really tried. I really tried. So the first deck I am going to show you in this category is the Green Witch Tarot. So this deck has been in steady use since I got it a few months ago. I got it after talking a lot about it with my friend Krista, and it's just, been a very solid reader for me. I think we have a lot more to work on, just like you do in a marriage. But it's proven itself to me to be very reliable and strong, and have a lot of wisdom to impart to me. Besides, it's also being very pretty and having a plant and an energy and an animal energy on every card, which I really, really appreciate. The one thing that I am going to say, okay, I know that this is the marriage material round, but that's not to say that it could have been also put on. It didn't really fit in with any other category so far. The only reason it's not in the next prompt, which is Happily Ever After, is because I have a feeling that there are a couple of decks coming out this year or soon that might actually end up replacing this deck. So maybe we're not marriage material, but at the moment of filming, this deck is the closest thing that I have been able to find for this sort of energy in my life that I want to have in my life, where it's people-y cards, but it's got the right atmosphere. But the one that there's 2 decks that might be challenging this deck in its position, and that is hang on, what is it called? Fairy Wisp? No. There's a deck that Emily Fiegensuch is working on together with Lisa Robertson, all about, fairy realm and animals, and there's gnomes and goblins and sprites, and I can't wait for that deck. I love every single card. They are so, so incredibly gorgeous. And then there's also the Witch's Garden tarot by Natasha Insilic, and I can't remember who the writer is now. Can't remember who the writer is now for that deck. But anyway, the illustrator is Natasha Insilic. She's the woman who made the Witch's Companion. Is that it? Can't remember now. Anyway, this deck, let's get back to this deck. The Green Witch is the one deck that fills that space in my collection at the moment, and it's gorgeous. I love it, and it's proven itself to me. So, ergo, it's marriage material. But that doesn't mean that we're gonna get married. Do you know what I mean? It's like a contender. It's a marriage material. So, yeah. It's definitely up there in the decks that might become the one, so to speak. If there even is such a thing in tarot, honestly. Maybe not for me, maybe. I think I'm a polygamist when it comes to tarot and oracle. So, yeah. Yeah, that's the Green Witch Tarot by, did I not say who it was by? By Anne Mora, and hang on, it's illustrated by, gosh darn it. Why do I keep forgetting the illustrator's name for this one? Kiri Östergaard Leonard. That's it. So, the next deck in this category, marriage material, is the Future Ancestor Tarot by Lexa Luna Studio. I can't get enough of this deck, to be honest. I love these backs. The card stock is amazing. I love this shuffle. I can sit and shuffle this all day long. It's so pretty. And I love the way that it's so simple but impactful. Like they just do something to me, these images. We are having a very good time together, and it's giving me such incredible readings that it's definitely part of the marriage material prompt. I adore the leaves and like the organic matter that's part of this deck, in basically every card. And some of these images are just so impactful to me. And I really, really want the big guidebook that she's made now, and I'm hoping that I will be able to get that one day. Yeah, just handling this deck feels special. Like it's like the feel of the cards. And this High Priestess, oh my goodness, it's just so good. Right, so that was the Future Ancestor Tarot by Lexa Luna. And there's 2 more decks in this category in the marriage material lineup. And the next one is the Tarot of Strange Antlers. It's a French deck, and I can put the name of the deck here because I keep trying to pronounce it, and I don't know. Marlene over at Waves of Your Soul said I pronounced it perfectly, but I don't believe her. I think she was just being nice. So, here we go. Here's the Tarot of the Strange Antlers, or something like that in English. This deck, it could have been in my Love at First Sight. But this deck and I had some really intense readings together, and we're having a very special relationship developing. I love this deck so much. It gives me so many different feelings, and it's like I can't even read the guidebook because it's in French, right? So the relationship that we are building is just purely based off of the feelings I get when I look at this artwork and what I can, intuitively get from it. And I just honestly can't get enough of this deck. The only reason why I'm not using it constantly every day is because it's so thick. The cardstock is atrocious in my opinion. It's very stiff and big, and I've trimmed this. I've trimmed it and edged it. I've trimmed it down as much as I could without cutting in too much into the artwork. And yeah, I wish that this deck would come out in English and with, thinner, more workable cardstock. That's one of my deepest wishes when it comes to tarot. It's just so gorgeous. And I'm not usually the kind, I don't usually go for decks with a lot of nudity, and in this deck most of the characters are nude. But it's a very natural sort of nude. You know what I mean by that? Like it's not there for any specific like explicit reason. It's not there to be sexy or anything like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that either, but it's not something that I like to use my cards for, if you know what I mean. So this is more like back to nature nudity. It's more like being yourself nudity. It's like nudity as in here I am, this is me, and vulnerability. That's what I mean. And I also like that the bodies are so realistically like depicted, like in their nudity. It's not stylistically like perfect Barbie doll bodies. And there's so much emotion in this deck. I can't love it enough. It's just so good. I adore it so much. And I'm gonna stop gushing now. So this is definitely one of my marriage material decks. The next one is the last one in this category, and that is the Tarot of Mystical Moments by Catherine Wellstein. I debated quite a lot whether I would include this deck or not, but since it is one of the decks that I have actually worked with the most, I feel, the most regularly. It's been a while now. I've had a bit of a fling with other things, but it's definitely earned its place to be marriage material, I feel, because I have used the heck out of this deck. It always gives me really good readings. It's proven itself to me, which is the prompt. And this deck has given me more stalker cards than any other deck I've ever used. This one used to stalk me, and it's just the Page of Cups stalked me for quite a while. And yeah, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous deck. I love Catherine's collage style, because they don't feel like collages. They feel like, at least they don't feel like collages to me. They feel just like intended like artwork from the start, built up by hand almost. Yeah. This card also kept showing up for me. It's just a gorgeous deck, and like I said, proven itself to me time and time again. Whenever I use it, it always gives me something to chew on. And this card has been showing, or did show up a lot when I was using this as well. Almost every other time I used it, I got this card. So yeah, it's definitely a marriage material deck for me, and a deck that it's not going anywhere, to be honest. And that was Tarot of Mystical Moments by Catherine Wellstein. Okay, my friends, we've reached the last prompt, which is Happily Ever After. Your true love in a deck. Well, my true love in 5 decks. Yes, okay, I know. I'm bad at this. But we are going to get crack on with it. So I'm going to start with the one that's newest in this category, I think. The one that just immediately jumped here. It could have been in the Love at First Sight or Marriage Material, but I chose to put it in this one because I instantly knew that this deck and I were going to have a lifelong love. Wild Whiskers Spirit Animal Oracle by Fina Laura. I love this deck. The moment I saw it online, the moment I got it home, I haven't put it down. I wanted it for so long, and I kept saying no to myself, and then I just decided, no, you live once, okay? Just just get the damn deck. And I did. So here we are. It's so gorgeous. I love it to bits. I love every single card. And I'm not kidding you. Every single card I love in this deck. I love the adjectives that she's put in front of each animal, like this alliteration going on. I love it. And I love the keywords that we get. And then we get this little like affirmation or like invocation almost that you can use during the day to like call that animal energy to you. And it's just, this deck does so much for me. I've been using it ever since I got it. I keep having like cards on my altar from this deck. It's like it's not left my side, and it's not going to for a long time. It's one of the most gorgeous decks in my collection, in my opinion. I really am so drawn to this whole aesthetic of the black background and this almost luminous artwork. And it just does so much for me. So this deck is one of my very true loves, and I know that straight away. It just is. Okay, don't come here and question me. I just adore it so much. So that's the Wild Whiskers by Fina Laura. Absolutely fantastic deck. The next one I'm going to show you in this category is a deck that I have loved for a long time. That's might be a surprise, but it is the little like novelty Tarot Nova by Dennis Fairchild. And this is a deck that I think is out of print now, but it used to be sold in bookshops, and I got this deck so long ago now. The guidebook is really good, actually, in my opinion, and the cards, I paired this with the Fina Laura deck that I just showed you, the Wild Whiskers, and it just gives me goosebumps when I use it. It's so good. These are the gorgeous backs that I love, and again, this has this black background and like popping artwork, and it's not like the prettiest deck I own. It's not by far any kind of favorite shuffle or anything like that. It's not even got the best guidebook of many of my decks, but this deck has proven itself to me time and time again. It always gives pinpoint accurate readings, gives me like whenever I need a quick answer, whenever I need to just have a deck tell me as it is, this is the deck. It's just spot on every time. Gives me so much. And it's very simple. And it's very like, but it's cute, it's adorable, it's tiny, it's pretty, it's got such depths that you don't really think of when you see it at first glance, and it pairs perfectly with my Wild Whiskers, so it's definitely a happily ever after deck for me. We are going to be together forever, I know it. So that's the Tarot Nova by Dennis Fairchild. Next one up in this this prompt is probably not going to be a surprise either. It's the Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reid. We have had some times together. We've been together for a long time now, and even though it has parts about it that I don't like, that's what true love is. We love people despite our differences. And yes, this deck has gotten me out of more tough periods of times that I care to count. It gives me such love, such attention, such wisdom, calms me down, gives me all the good feels. I don't, like I said before, I don't care for the feathers and the jewelry on them very much. It bothers me a bit, but I just look past it, to be honest, because other than that, the artwork is gorgeous, and the guidebook, you guys, I just love it. I love it so much, and these little prompts on here, they're just gorgeous. So gorgeous. Yeah, so that's the Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reid, and the illustration is by Jenna della Grottaglia. I think I said that right. Yes, I did. I think. Next one up is the Earthbound Oracle by Andy? Andy or Dani? Andy Schwartz. Same creator as the Wood Tarot, the Wooden Tarot, and Seekers Lenormand. It's can't give this deck enough love. I think it's the very first indie oracle I ever bought. It is. It was the first one I felt really drawn to, and I love the fact that it's painted on wooden, like pieces of wood, and I can't with this deck. It's so good. I love it to bits. We have not parted since I got it, like 5-6 years ago now, I think. We've been together through thick and thin. It comes out regularly to help me out whenever I need some sage advice. I love this card. Oh, it's gorgeous, and it's yeah, honestly just one of the best decks that I have, in my opinion. So that was the Earthbound Oracle by, I want to say, Andy Schwartz. I don't have the box here now because I've got it in my little pouch. But I'm going to put the name here because we need to be fair to the creators. Okay, so yes. The very last one that I'm going to show you today is not going to surprise anyone, I don't think, that has been with me for a while. My Happily Ever After deck. Oh, forever and always, above everything else, I think, is going to be this deck. This is the Victorian Fairy Tarot by Linnea Weatherstone and Gary Lippincott. This deck is the very first out-of-print deck that I ever bought from a lovely person in the Netherlands. It has this gorgeous, gorgeous scent to it, and it's just, I can't gush enough about this deck. Unfortunately, like I said, it's out of print. But yes, this deck and I have had a love story, a whirlwind romance that just bloomed into true love. We are so tight, me and this deck. It's ridiculous how much I love this deck. I adore the artwork so much. I don't know, it's like, it's got everything. It's got animals, plants, fairy creatures, mushrooms, lots of really pretty scenery. It's got everyday kind of occurrences. Like, it's magical, but it still kind of looks at very human situations as well as magical situations. Do you know what I mean? And I just... It speaks to my romantic side. It speaks to my inner child. It speaks to the part of me that wants to be the best I can be. You know what I mean? It's like I see it and I just feel like everything's going to be okay. Everything is okay. Things are as they should be. Life is life. Life can be difficult and hard and horrible, but there's always something soft somewhere if you look enough. You can always find the softness within you. You can always find the kindness that you need within you. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others, and things will usually work out. And I know that there are situations in life where this might not at all resonate with you right now. If you're watching and you're having a hard time, I absolutely understand. But this deck reminds me of that. You know, like, I can have a really, really shitty day and I sit down with this deck and it just reminds me that things go on, things change, there are difficult times in life, but we also have these pockets of joy that can bubble up. The sunshiny days. And yeah, I don't know if I'm making any sense right now. Love this sun card so much. But yeah, it's so yeah, I think I've said enough. I think I've gushed enough. I think you know how much I love this deck by now. And that is the Victorian Fairy Tarot by Linnea Witherstone and Gary Lippincott. It's got a very, very special place in my heart. And yeah, it's my happily ever after deck for sure. So... That was my deck crush tag, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It's always so much fun to do these VRs. I really want to do more of them. It's just I have such a difficult time finding space in my day where I'm alone and I can film these videos. But I'm doing my best, and I hope that is enough. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me in exploring my deck crushes. Please take a look at all of the other deck crush videos in this tag, because they are really good. I want to thank Lisa Papez, Marlene and Dani and Dawn Michelle for creating this tag. It was a blast. I love it so much. And happy Valentine's Day to everyone, or rather, as we call it here in Finland, Happy Friend Day, because we can also celebrate, or we also call it All Hearts Day or Friend Day here in Finland and in Sweden. So I want to wish you a happy Friend Day, because I really appreciate having you here. So thank you so much again for joining me. Please be well, my friends, and take care. And I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.